Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. This is the weekly outlook for the futures, currencies, Forex, and indices. It is the week of November 28th to December 3rd. Hope everybody is doing well and are safe. All right, I'm going to start off with the Australian dollar like I usually do. And I'm on the monthly time frame. And the basic gist of this chart is we're looking to form a new move to the upside in the long term. This is on the monthly. So we're looking at a new long-term move, more than likely that's going to be pushing us back to the upside. However, in the interim, we're on a downward spiral. So it looks like it's going to take us back down into this area of the chart. So somewhere in here, we're going to be coming back down before we get a turnaround move. So on the monthly, this could be upwards of, you can see from where we are over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So anywhere from 3 to 6 months before we get back down into this area. So that kind of gives you an overview of what's really happening with this currency. Looking on the weekly time frame. So what I'm seeing here now is this move has still more legs to go. So again, we could come back down into this area. It's totally a possibility in the long term. We could, of course, come back just to here in the short term, but that could extend after. So we could come back into here and then go, or we could then go further down into this level and then go something like that. So one of these is going to play out, and at this moment in time, of course, this one would be the first possibility. All right, so short term to here, longer term, we could even go further. So dropping down to the daily time frame. So now we're coming into what's going on this week. Any movements back to the upside, because we're right at support right now. So any movements back will just be opportunities to continue selling the Aussie. All right, so that's a look at the Aussie. Take a look at Bitcoin. Let's go to the monthly on that one as well. So straight up in the air, breaking the highs, and then a rejection and coming back down. So we're on our way back down. And just like I said from last week, we would be moving back to the downside. And that's what's happening. And so it looks like further downside is in the cards. And even though we're pushing back up, I would look for any chance to sell into this move back up and coming back down into this area. Okay, so something like that is totally a possibility. So, okay, so more weakness in Bitcoin as we go into this week. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. So these guys are right on the cusp. These are the ones, the big boys here, oil and Bitcoin and gold. So oil, after quite a run here, breaking to new highs and just hitting a little bit of a wall. But I still think overall we're going to continue going back up into this area, but we're just hitting a little bit of a wall at this moment in time. Remember, winter is coming for North America and Europe and so forth. So it's just going to be a matter of time before this is going to turn around again and continue going up. So we're moving down slowly right now, and looks like this move to the downside might be over. We came right back down into our previous support resistance area, and it looks like we might be done this move and could be looking for a push back to the upside. If we breach this and continue down, of course, if we come back down into this area, then all bets are off and we're still going to be heading down. But I don't see that happening. I think we're going to more than likely turn around imminently anyways. So okay, so that's looking at that for oil, a possible turnaround this week. Okay, let's take a look at let's take a look at the DAX. This is a German. Let's go to the monthly. Quite the move up, but we're pushing back down with lots of vigor here. And you can see it's not a straight down like oil and so forth. It's more of a staggered move. So it looks like we still have a bit more to come back down. We could come back down into this area. And so that's what's going to play out. So for the remainder of the week, weakness in the DAX is looks like it's in the cards. Any pullback to the upside is opportunities to sell into this move, because if I went back to the weekly and we drew a trend line from here across, okay, we would expect. Let me make sure I've got my magnet on. Okay, so if I go back down to the daily now, we would expect price to meet that line on its way down. So that would be a reasonable up spot, and back down to a support area before we get a turnaround going back up again. Right, so something like that. All right, let's take a look at the US dollar. Okay, this one has been on a tear recently to the upside. So I can draw trend lines just to kind of get a gauge of where we are overall. And one like that gives us a good support base. And we're pushing off that support base to the upside with a lot of strength. So looking pretty good at this moment in time to the upside. Dropping to the weekly time frame. Now we can see that this big move is indeed real, and it's just very strong. We broke through and pushed to a new trend to the upside. So what we're getting is a very strong push coming back up into resistance here, first opportunity, and then we could go sideways here before we get another move. And that can happen. We can take us back down. It can just take off here. So there's a couple of scenarios in here, but with this kind of strength, it looks like we might just slice through and continue to the upside. But right now, this is on the weekly, so that can take a while to play out. Also on the daily time frame, we're looking to push to the upside a little bit one more time at least before we get into that mess. So could be a short term down for gold, but overall we're going to be heading back to the upside going into the rest of the week. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. Let's go to the monthly. Ethereum still stuck. You can see still stuck in that same range. So we're inside of a range, and we've been looking at this in the last while. We're inside this range, so we could stay in here for a while, and that's what it's looking like. So I wouldn't be really too keen on buying or selling at this moment in time, because you can see we're clearly inside of a range, and we could come back down a little bit and so on. So not really liking that too much at this point for ETC. All right, let's take a look at gold. And with gold, let's go to the monthly. Quite the push up to the top and back down, and now we're also in a sideways funk here. So let's drop down to the weekly, take a closer look at where we are. So you can see indeed we are inside of a sideways type channel, and heading back down in this channel. So I'm looking for more weakness in gold as we go into the week, and this looks like it's going to play out as such. So that kind of structure like this will take us back down, could even take us right back down to the bottom area. Okay, it's possible it could just stall out here, but we're going to get a little bit of a down and then a push back to the upside. So two opportunities, two to buy gold low, if it in fact reaches to that lowest point. But right to this intermediate area first, and this could bounce from here back to the upside. But gold in a little bit of a doldrums going into this week. All right, what else can we look at here? Let's take a look at Litecoin. Well, what's the price on Litecoin? Litecoin's pretty expensive. Well, not compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin, but pretty cheap when overall. So monthly, very hard to tell what's going on there. Weekly, we pushed way up, come back down. So on the daily, are we still moving to the downside? It looks like maybe we're done at this point. We could be done. We could have still one more push back down, but we're in an area where we could either go to the upside with some vigor, or we could drop back one more time back down into this area. But it looks like we might be done at this point. We could be pushing back to the upside for the remainder of the week. Okay, it's 11 minutes have gone by already. Let me take a look at something else. Let's take a look at one of my favorites, the Russell 2000. Big push to the upside, broke through all this. So what I was looking for here was a breakout of this channel that we were in, and we did break out, in fact, to the upside, but as you can see, we came right back into it. So very interesting, whether that's total fake out or it's going to turn around and continue back up. We'll see. Looking at what happened on Friday after this move, we dropped right back down into the previous jumble, and we could see a turnaround here that would take us back out again. That would be my expectation, but we could also see one more drop back down before we get that turnaround. So again, two scenarios could play out here, and we can see. I could actually go down to a lower time frames to take a look at this, and we can get a better idea. So dropping to the 4-hour, you can see we hit bottom here. Maybe we drop to the 1-hour, and you can see it's a very volatile Friday trading session, and it looks like perhaps we're done based on the structure. We could be totally done. We could also, like I say, pull back down one more time. We could even gyrate for a little bit in here and then drop one more time, or we could just be doing one drop and then we're gone. So it's a very sticky area here. So we'll see how that plays out for the week. All right, let's take a look at the Dow. Now the Dow and the S&P 500 are practically the same. Big moves to the upside, breaking to new highs. We had a lot of that going into the last few weeks. So we broke the new highs, but we pushed back quite a bit. So on the daily, there's a downward move, just like with the US 2000. So we are down. So it looks like we could get another push to the downside. So if that's the case, then more than likely the US 2000 would also follow the same type of pattern and drop as well. Okay, so looking for possibility. So any moves to the upside here might just be a fake out that will take us back down one more time, back down into this area here. All right, so that's a look at the Dow, and of course the S&P will be similar. So on the monthly, big pushes to the upside to new highs, but I've been warning that these candles were getting smaller and smaller, and as we got up there, we could get a turnaround, and sure enough, that's what's happening. And are we done? I don't think we're done, but we're getting a pullback anyways, and we could come all the way back down to this area before we're finished this move, and then we might get that move back to the upside. So looking for a little bit of weakness, at least to start the week. That's totally possible here. Same type of scenario as the Dow and the Russell 2000. So yeah, I'm seeing an overall structure that's going to take us a fake out move, opportunity to sell into this another big move back down as the day unfolds tomorrow. That's an opportunity that might set up. All right, so that's a look at some of the setups for this week. So profitable trading to everyone. Be safe. I'm done now. Thank you.